it is our great pleasure to bring on Maxim. He has showed us some really cool stuff, and he's here to show you actually all of this very cool AR stuff that they've been working on and how you can really bring your collections to the fore. So with that, Maxim, please take it away.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here today at the 3D Tech Fest first day. My name is Maxim Raykhrud. I'm the CPO at ZERO10. So without any further ado, let's start. ZERO10 is a platform, and let's start with what kind of platform it is. We are a leading AR fashion platform with unique try-on experiences for virtual clothing. We connect brands and designers to users all over the world. We do plenty of things. Number one, we are a digital fashion platform where you could browse items and actually buy them as in-app purchases or NFTs. Number two, we have incredible real-time live augmented reality try-on. So items look as if they would in real life on your phone's camera. And number three, last but not least, we have amazing photo try-on where you could dress up photos from your library with digital garments from the ZERO10 platform. All of this is powered by some unique technology. So we have our own custom body tracking to accurately apply the garments. We have segmentation to detect and correctly cover or uncover body parts. We have beautiful cloth simulation, and we are working on a ton of internal technology to transform high polygon 3D models, which are customary for digital clothes, into low poly ones ready for augmented reality. And here is a video of how we compare to the competition. This item was created by one of the open call competition participants on both platforms, ZERO10 and Snapchat, and you could see what the differences are here. So, but what is open call? Now, this summer, we ran a huge, large-scale competition for digital clothing designers. We were incredibly impressed with the results. But that's something I'm going to tell you about later. We ran this in July, August. We had 3 big prizes. The biggest, obviously, being actually getting put into AR, but we also had some monetary prizes as well. The winners were determined by a popular vote on a specifically created website, and we were accepting submissions created with Chloe and Marvelous Designer to, essentially the same industry standard. Why did we do this? So we know that augmented reality for 3D garments that are usually purely works of art, augmented reality is something that gives them practical purpose. There are very few AR platform options available to digital garment designers. They're not always easy to enter, and we think ours is best optimized for clothing. We were getting an incredible amount of requests already on a daily basis. We still are. Actually, people write to us every day and they want in. And we wanted to give independent designers an easy way to present the garments in augmented reality, and especially with the high quality that we provide. And the results were amazing. 521 signups, 191 works were accepted out of 259 submissions. And all of that, the top 3 winners were decided with over 15,000 votes cast. I think this is pretty impressive for something we didn't even expect to be that big. And because of the sheer amount and the quality and the beauty of all the garments we got, we decided that 3 items, wouldn't be enough. So we actually are working with the designers and 3D design communities to release more items. 3D design communities are acting as curators, and they're picking their favorites out of the incredible 191 digital garments. And we're slowly releasing them every week, essentially. And the users loved this. So the best performers out of the ones that we have released so far delivered up to double the average conversion rate, which already is pretty high. We've seen some incredible, amazing content on social networks. And all of this is essentially leading us to opening up ZERO10. We realized that this is something we have to do now, getting all of this attention. So the biggest thing we want to work on would be the ZERO10 open platforms, essentially a place where every digital designer, brand, or a small studio would be able to enter, where we would make it much easier to convert the existing clothing, because obviously for the open call we had to do it all internally with our set of tools and some manual operation. We want to make this more accessible. We want to create design tools for augmented reality. We want to make it possible for business to also, enjoy the benefits of the open platform. And this is the big work in progress that we're working on right now. Number two, I think, is obviously the open platform won't be ready tomorrow, but there are brands that want in. And because of that, we want to give them an option to join ZERO10 as it is right now. So, by actually getting an AR collection in the app with some e-commerce integration options. This is something we have done already with Maisie Willen. And, well, an up-and-coming but very interesting designer from Los Angeles. And we saw some incredible results when it came to the user engagement and how many people actually led to her website. Now, we also want to give bigger e-commerce players a nice option to integrate ZERO10's tech, because we think this technology stands on its own and we could just integrate it. So we're working on ZERO10 SDK, which will work on iOS and web. We already have some prototypes running here. And we think this could be an incredible thing to actually boost sales and decrease returns when it comes to clothing, because we all know that while the item not fitting the customer style is not the biggest reason for return, it's still one of the big ones. So we think that this could actually alleviate this pain for the e-commerce. But we also have some exciting stuff coming up for offline retail, which is something we call AR Mirror. So this is real footage from our pop-up store that I will tell you about in the next slide. And we think this might help the big players just sell items that are not in stock locally, because it's obviously some players are already doing that. They are driving sales using apps and using just very, very, very nice and well-taught sales assistants. But what if you could actually show the person what the item would look on them? So this could be pretty big, we think. And this is something that already exists. We are very proud of how it functions. So because of all of these things, we actually have launched the first ever physical store for digital clothing in New York City. This happened last week, and it runs until the end of this week. This is a collaboration between ZERO10 and Crosby Studios, who have worked with Balenciaga, Valentino, Nike, and many others. And it's a new kind of retail space that we've imagined. It's getting some incredible attention. So it's not just the people that are coming in and taking incredible photos and videos. We, are getting really good press here. And we think that this could be, the future of what digital fashion could do, and maybe the future of retail. Who knows? So this is really the end of the presentation so far. And you can try ZERO10 right now if you want to. And of course, there are contact details as well.
So we have some questions for you.
Wow.
People want to know why first of all, Jonian Leah has said, this looks amazing. Are there any plans to make an Android app as well?
Well, so our core technology is sort of heavily based on what Apple have done with iOS, but we obviously know that, we know the needs of e-commerce, which is why we're doing the web solution. And we are also doing, when we say we're doing the web solution, this also means that we'll have photo try-on, which is equally stunning, I think, as good as real time. It will be available for Android users as well once we're done with this.
And does this mean that anybody can go to your store in Soho?
Well, you have to sign up online. The slots are limited, but yeah, you're all welcome. And it would be a great pleasure for us to see you, and
they want to know what the address is.
Oh yeah, it's 138 Worcester Street.
138 Worcester Street.
Yeah, and of course you could just sign up on crosby.zero10.app.
Somebody will put
type it in somewhere.
We have to type it in somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
But the reception has been amazing, right? Do you think that some of your users are actually are mostly Gen Z, or are they, you know, is there a generational gap on this, or how does that really work?
Well, I think that there would obviously be a huge precedence, of Gen Z and probably millennials over the others. But I think it's actually a very inclusive app because we make it possible for anyone, no matter what their age, no matter what their shape, no matter what their skin color. ZERO10 is very inclusive when it comes to this. So I think that even though it might be attracting more Gen Z users right now, we're definitely ready for pretty much anyone who might, use this.
And how do you hope that the big corporations will incorporate, like the big brands would incorporate something like this into the everyday kind of, what's your kind of vision for the future for some of these guys?
Well, I mean, there are so many visions, but of course we could talk about how we could just simply drive sales of the traditional, physical garments, how it could be a platform for a new trend that I think is here to stay and to develop of digital garments. And I think that brands could always do a healthy mix of something physical and very concrete and use ZERO10's tech to sell that. And they could also do some digital garments that could only exist in the digital space, because I mean, this is something that we had the most success with the open call. So the designers that came to the competition, they are thinking completely out of the box. They are creating items that could never, ever, ever be physical, or they would be incredibly ridiculous, unwearable, and even unsuitable even for the red carpet, really. And this stuff could exist in virtual reality and just, drive the brand's image maybe further. So, we think it's a healthy mix, really. This tech could be used for both physical garments and the future digital stuff.
Which basically means to all the call out to all of the people who are actually watching today is that you really have to make your digital garments.
And there are so many incredible solutions for 3D models as well, as we've seen earlier.
And there are, as well as the fact that, like this whole industry is like, it's coming to a forefront, right? We can't just, there's one side of it that's just digital, and there's one side of that's like, both digital and physical, and then there's just physical, right? So we have to be ready for the mix of things. And so I really love all of the work that you're doing. Okay, I'm going to ask you a little bit of a question, but do you have much competition in this space?
Well, I mean, we do. We do have some competition. Of course, there is DressX, who are doing incredible work. There is Snapchat, who are developing competing technology and have been here, for a longer time. And I think this is fantastic because this actually means that this market exists. There is a true demand and there is, a true supply for the digital garment try-on. It would have been really horrible if we had no competition. That would have meant that we're doing something really weird.
And exactly, and actually, rising tide raises all boats, right? So,
exactly.
And we're so excited to see what you have in store. I know that my team are going down there at some point this week to go see. So we're super excited to have you on, and thank you so much for today. If there are any other questions, please ask Maxim either on his app or on the comment section.